Hello there, Mr. Mash here. I hope you're doing well. Mr. Mash is good, as always. This is the fourth part to our 5-part series on Keynesian models. And in this model, we are going to open the economy up now. So we are going to be dealing with an open economy, which means that we have imports and exports, but our imports are not going to be induced. What this means is that we are going to consider our imports and exports to be autonomous. You remember autonomous, what does it mean? It means that they are independent of income. It means they are independent of income. We spoke about this in our first video, in the other videos that came after that. So that's what autonomous is. They are not dependent on the level of income. All right. Our aggregate expenditure total spending is given by consumption by households, investments by firms, government expenditure, and net exports, which is exports minus imports. Imports, some use M, some use Z, doesn't matter, it's the same thing. All right, so from this now, you should remember that the consumption function is split into two parts: the autonomous part and the induced part, which is the disposable income. So there's a tax rate here, which means that at the end of the day, your aggregate expenditure would then be your autonomous consumption plus the YD is 1 minus TY. So this is the marginal propensity to consume, 1 minus T times Y. This gives you your induced consumption plus your net exports, X minus Z. All right. And in equilibrium, your aggregate expenditure is equal to income, A equals to Y. This is the equilibrium condition. So we remove A here. For equilibrium, we substitute with Y. So your Y, autonomous consumption, plus your induced consumption, plus exports minus imports. But remember also, we still have the investments and the government expenditure. They should also be part of this equation. We take the like terms together. We have Y minus C minus T, marginal propensity to consume, tax rate times Y is equal to autonomous consumption, autonomous investments, autonomous government expenditure. This X minus Z, we write it here as X minus Z. Instead of writing X minus Z, you can simply write this as net exports, because X minus Z is also referred to as net exports. So ultimately, what you have based on that is that you take out your Y, and then inside you are left with 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume, 1 minus the tax rate, and this is equal to all the autonomous expenditure, autonomous consumption, investments, government spending, plus the net exports. And then you divide both sides by this. So the equilibrium level of income is 1 over 1 minus C, 1 minus T, multiplied by the total autonomous spending. The only thing that has changed here is the total autonomous expenditure, because remember, we said exports and imports, both of them are autonomous. So the equilibrium level of income is this part here, the same one which we got in the previous video as our multiplier, multiplied by the total autonomous expenditure, which is this part here. All right, we just added net exports. So you would find, for example, if there's an increase in imports, right, your equilibrium level of income would look something like this. This is the 45-degree line, which is the equilibrium for aggregate expenditure and income. A So if you have total, this is total autonomous expenditure, and this shows the equilibrium, aggregate spending 1. This is the equilibrium, Y1. If there's an increase in imports, for example, if imports increase, imports are a withdrawal. Imports, they take money out of the economy. We are buying from other people, so we are getting their goods and they are getting our money. It shifts this aggregate expenditure curve down. So the aggregate expenditure 2, when there's an increase in imports, goes down, and this results in a fall in the equilibrium level of income, like this. So you should be able to show this on the graph, and this amount falls by the amount of the imports. It's going to decrease. This is going to decrease, and the fall in aggregate expenditure results in a fall in income through the multiplier effect. All right, so this is very straightforward because it's building from the previous part, but what we've just included is this part here, and by now you must be able to do this. So let's quickly jump into an example and conclude this section before we get into the last part. This is an example here where we have a small open economy. They're given this information about the economy, and they want you to calculate the equilibrium level of income. The equilibrium level of income, part 1, is given by multiplier times total autonomous expenditure. The multiplier is 1 over 1 minus the consumption, 1 minus the tax rate, because we are given a tax here and we are given the MPC here. So this is 1 divided by 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume, 0.7, multiplied by 1 minus the tax rate, 0.3. So this will be equal to 1 over 1 minus 0.7 times 0.7. All right, so it's 1 over 1 minus 0.7 squared is what? 0.7 times 0.7, 0.49. And then if you subtract 1 minus 0.49, you must get 0.51. Okay, if you divide these two, you must then get 1.96 as your multiplier. And remember, I like this one, 1 over the marginal propensity to save plus the marginal propensity to consume times the tax rate. This is the marginal propensity to save. This is the marginal rate of taxation. These are your withdrawals. You are summing up the withdrawals. Savings are withdrawals, taxes are withdrawals. So this would be 1 over. The marginal propensity to save is 1 minus 0.7, which is 0.3. Marginal propensity to consume is given as 0.7, and the tax rate is given as 0.3. So if you add this, where you have 0.3 plus 0.7 times 0.3, you get 0.51. The answer should be the same, 1.96. It must not be different. You choose. I like this. If you like this, do what pleases you. Calculate the change in government expenditure required to reach full employment. So remember, also we spoke about this. We just use this formula where there is this equilibrium income. We include a change now. We're now saying the change in income, change in aggregate spending. In this case, autonomous, not aggregate. Autonomous spending is just the change in government. They can say government, they can say investments, they can say autonomous consumption, whatever they choose, but it's just a change in autonomous expenditure. So the change in autonomous expenditure, which is government in this instance, we divide both sides by the multipliers, the change in income over the multiplier, which is equal to, we are going to take, so the change in government expenditure, change in income, we take the new one, the given value for full employment, 1870. We subtract the answer that we got for the equilibrium level of income. I actually see that we didn't calculate it. We just calculated the multiplier. So for the first part, don't be like me. Go all the way. You have your Y, the multiplier 1.96 plus the total autonomous expenditure. You add all of them. You're going to add all of them. 380. So it's just the 380 on the consumption part here. It's just the 380 plus the government 280 plus net exports, which is 90, plus the investments, which is 175. Okay, put these numbers in your calculator. 380 plus 280 plus 90 plus 175, you get 925. So your equilibrium level of income is 1.96 times 925. So you multiply this by 1.96, you should get 1813. So you subtract here 1870 minus 1813. You divide all of this by the multiplier, which is 1.96. So the change in government required to reach full employment level of income should then be equal to 29 million. It should then be equal to 29 million. Okay, let me just confirm this. 1813 divided by 1.96. Yes, it should be 29. So this is correct. This is correct. So the first answer, we just did the multiplier, but go all the way. After you get the multiplier, you multiply with the total autonomous expenditure. On consumption, you just take 380. You ignore the second part, and then the rest of the values are autonomous. Already, you are given net exports, so you just add this number here. Okay. And then the last part of this is asking whether or not the full employment level of income is the same as the equilibrium. You can see clearly here. You can see the full employment is 1870. The equilibrium income is 1813. These numbers are not the same. So they say explain your answer. You're just going to tell them no. Full employment is not equilibrium. Okay, sometimes they can coincide, but what the full employment means is that the economy is operating at its full potential. Full potential. You actually have a situation where the economy is operating. This is good A, good B. You actually have a situation where the economy is operating along its production possibility curve. This is the full potential, where they are fully utilizing their resources, where they are using all their factors of production, all the natural resources, everything they have at their disposal. They're operating at full capacity. That's what the full employment level is. But the equilibrium is where they are. And usually an economy operates below the full employment. Usually it's the case that the economy operates below its full employment, and the government then puts in place policies to try and increase the level of output, that increase aggregate demand, following what Keynes was saying. If the economy is operating above, the economy is overheating, and they have to cool it down. But it's not the same. These two are different. I hope you guys get what I'm saying, and continue to work hard. If you need any assistance, call us on WhatsApp, text us on WhatsApp, email me personally, email us at admin@mashfin.tech. Let us know what you're struggling with, and we can give you assistance. But for now, Mr. Mash is done. I want you guys to enjoy economics. Cheers.